Imagine that evolution is on trial, not in a courtroom of law, but in a courtroom of evidence. On one side sits Charles Darwin and modern biology. On the other side stand all the alternative explanations, including that God created humans and all animals in their fixed form. The question before us is very simple. Did evolution really happen? Not whether life has meaning or whether God exists. Just one question. Did all living things evolve from common ancestors through mutation and natural selection? Today, we will examine the evidence. Not one piece of evidence or two, but evidence from fossils, genetics, anatomy, embryology, microbiology, geology, and even our own bodies. By the end of the video, you may not know the answer to every mystery of existence, but you will understand why biologists are so certain that evolution is true. Let us begin. Exhibit A, the fossil record. Imagine you die today and your body gets buried under mud. Millions of years later, the mud becomes rock. Your bones become fossils. This is how fossil record forms. Now imagine digging through layers of rock. The deeper you go, the older the rocks become. This is called stratigraphy. Now here is something fascinating. The fossils always appear in a consistent order. Simple organisms appear first, followed by fish. Fish appear before amphibians. Amphibians appear before reptiles. Reptiles appear before mammals, and mammals before humans. Every single time, across continents and across thousands of fossil sites. And something equally important never happens. We never find a rabbit in Precambrian rocks, or a human among dinosaur fossils, or a whale in Cambrian rocks. As the famous biologist J.B.S. Haldane once joked, a rabbit fossil in the Precambrian rocks would destroy evolution. But despite centuries of digging, no such fossil has ever been found. The fossil record is exactly what evolution predicts. Exhibit B, transitional fossils. Critics once asked that if evolution is true, where are all the transitional forms? Today we have found thousands of such forms and their fossils. Let us look at a few. Meet Tiktaalik. It had scales, fins, and gills like a fish, but it also had a neck, wrist bones, and stronger limbs like a land animal. It is exactly what we would expect between fish and amphibians. Archaeopteryx is the transitional form between reptiles and birds. It had feathers and wings like a bird, but also teeth, clawed fingers, and a long bony tail like a reptile. It was not fully bird and neither fully reptile, a transition. Perhaps the most spectacular transition ever discovered was the whale. All the transitional forms, right from Pachycetus, Ambulocetus, Rhodocetus, Basilosaurus, up to modern whales, can be traced. Step by step, we can see legs shrinking, bodies becoming streamlined, nostrils moving upwards until they become modern blowholes. We can see land mammals transitioning into the sea. The fossil record literally documents whales returning to the sea. Exhibit C is comparative anatomy. Let us look at all the living animals. Take a human arm, a bat wing, a whale flipper, or a cat leg. They look completely different. Yet, inside, they contain the same bones: humerus, radius, ulna, wrist bones, finger bones. The blueprint is identical. Why? Because evolution says that they inherited the same basic structure from a common ancestor. Different functions, but same underlying design. Exhibit D is vestigial structures. Many organisms carry remnants of their evolutionary history. Whales have tiny pelvic bones. Why would a fully aquatic animal have a pelvis? Because its ancestors walked on land. Some snakes possess tiny leg bones. Humans have wisdom teeth, goosebumps, tailbones, ear muscles that most of us cannot move, even the appendix. These structures make perfect sense as evolutionary leftovers. Exhibit E is embryology. Let us examine embryos. At the early stages, embryos of fish, chickens, reptiles, humans look surprisingly similar. Human embryos even develop a tail. These disappear or transform later. Why would a human embryo temporarily possess such features? Because evolution modifies existing developmental programs, and embryos carry echoes of their ancestry. In fact, there have been documented cases where a genetic mutation or a malfunction led to the child being born with a tail, which was surgically removed after birth. Exhibit F is genetic evidence. The strongest evidence of all, our DNA. Darwin did not know about the DNA, but DNA later on confirmed his theory. The genetic code is universal. Every living thing on earth uses the same basic genetic language. Humans, cats, mango trees, bacteria, all of them use the same molecular alphabet. This strongly suggests common ancestry. Humans and chimpanzees share approximately 98 to 99% of their DNA sequence. Our 98% of DNA is identical to that of chimps. That does not mean that we are identical in every respect, but it means that our genomes are astonishingly similar. Evolution predicts this. Separate creation does not naturally predict it. Endogenous retroviruses are most powerful pieces of evidence. Viruses sometimes insert themselves into DNA. Occasionally, these viral sequences become permanent. They are passed from parent to child. Humans and other primates share many of the same viral insertions at the exact same locations in the genome. Think about that. The same ancient viral scars in the same places in the DNA. The simplest explanation is common ancestry. Humans possess 23 chromosome pairs and chimpanzees possess 24. If we share same ancestry, where did the extra chromosome go? Scientists predicted that the two ancestral ape chromosomes must have fused, and then they found exactly that. Human chromosome 2 contains the molecular signature of a fusion event, exactly where evolution predicted it would be. One of the greatest successful predictions in biology. Exhibit G is evolution happening today in real time. Evolution is not ancient history. We can watch it happen even right now in antibiotic resistance. Bacteria mutate, most of them die. If you give penicillin to a colony of bacteria, 99 will die, but one of them will go through a genetic mutation that will render the penicillin ineffective. Some mutations resist antibiotics, and those survive and those reproduce. Soon, an antibiotic resistant population emerges. So, we can see natural selection in real time. The peppered moth is another example. During the Industrial Revolution in Britain, tree bark became darkened by soot. Dark moths became harder for birds to spot. Their numbers increased. Later on, pollution decreased because of stricter environmental regulations. So, light colored moths became common again. Natural selection observed directly. Exhibit H is evidence within humans. Evolution is not happening only in animals, it is happening even in us. A good example is lactose tolerance. Most of the adult mammals cannot digest milk, yet many humans can. Why? Because in some populations, mutations arose allowing milk digestion into adulthood. Those mutations spread because dairy farming provided an advantage. Skin color. Human skin color varies with geography. Near the equator, there is more UV radiation. Farther from the equator, less UV radiation. Natural selection shaped pigmentation accordingly. Different environments, different adaptations. Exhibit number I, human evolution. What about us? Where did we come from? The fossil record reveals a remarkable story. Australopithecus, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Homo heidelbergensis, Neanderthals, Homo sapiens. We can trace increasing brain size, changes in posture, bipedalism, tool use, migration. Humans did not appear suddenly. We emerged gradually, and genetics confirms this history, as do the fossil evidence. We have found fossils of each of these transitional species, from Australopithecus to Homo sapiens. And many people alive today carry Neanderthal DNA, which proves that Neanderthals and Homo sapiens lived together at the same time and even bred together in some cases. The fossils and genes tell the same story. Exhibit J, Biogeography. Darwin noticed something strange. Why are marsupials concentrated in Australia? Why do island species resemble nearby mainland species? Why are the Galapagos finches similar yet different? Species distribution follows geography. Evolution explains this naturally. Species spread, become isolated, adapt differently, and gradually diverge. So, what is the verdict? Let's step back and look at the evidence. Fossils, transitional fossils, stratigraphy, comparative anatomy, vestigial organs, embryology, DNA, retroviruses, chromosome fusion, antibiotic resistance, human evolution, biogeography. Each line of evidence independently points in the same direction. If only one existed, it would still be impressive, but all of them together create a case that is overwhelming. Evolution is not accepted because scientists like it. It is accepted because the evidence consistently supports it. Evolution is one of the most beautiful and unsettling ideas that humanity has ever discovered because it dethrones humanity from its special position. Humanity is not selected. Over millions and millions of years, we are just one species, a one lineage from primates. It reveals that all life on earth is related. Birds, trees, whales, humans, they are part of single family tree stretching back billions of years. And it's unsettling because it shows no grand ladder, no special privilege for us, no guaranteed destination, just life, adapting, changing, surviving for nearly 3.8 billion years. Evolution proves that species are still changing and adapting to their environments. And so are we. We were not created fixed by God or some power. We have evolved through genetic mutations selected by our environment. Whether that story has a deeper meaning remains a philosophical question. Evolution does not negate God, but it definitely challenges many of the assumptions that we hold. Evolution happened is one of the most strongly supported conclusions in all of science, and that is why, more than 150 years after Darwin, evolution remains the foundation of modern biology, accepted by scientists all across the world. If you liked this video, please share it as much as possible and do subscribe to Nerdvana. Thank you so much for listening.